conflict.
All right, Hussam Al-Ghaniani, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much for that. We can move on to other news now, and in Pakistan, a car bomb has killed at least 15 people. The explosion happened in the eastern city of Faisalabad in a neighborhood full of government buildings. Dozens of others have also been injured in that attack. Let's bring in AlJazeera's Kamal Haidar, who's live for us in Islamabad. Kamal, what more do we know on this?
Well, as far as that explosion is concerned, we are getting reports that this was near a compressed natural gas station, which is one of the fuels used by many people in Pakistan because it's the cheapest form of fuel available now. That particular explosion is sending everybody investigating as to whether this was an accident at that particular station or was this an act of terror, because there are indications that there was a powerful explosion inside that station. There may have been a vehicle involved. There were many people near that station who were at a courier office. They were collecting their passports. They would be receiving their visas. An airline office as well, which has gone down, at least a section of it has gone down. Many of the people are still trapped under the debris, and rescue efforts are still underway.
All right, and Kamal, has Faisalabad, that city, been relatively calm in recent months?
Well, it has been in recent months. It has seen attacks in the past, but this particular attack has everybody suspicious because the investigating authorities are now looking for clues as to whether this was an act of terror or was this actually an accident at that particular station, which is situated, as you mentioned earlier, near to some important buildings like the airline building. There is also other government offices close by.
All right, Kamal Haidar, live from Pakistan. Thank you. Well, it was one of his most famous presidential pledges: close Guantanamo Bay prison camp and move military trials to civilian courts. But the detention center in Cuba remains open, and now Barack Obama has taken a U-turn by giving the order for military trials to resume. John Terrett reports.
Just after he took office, President Obama promised to keep a campaign pledge and close Guantanamo within 1 year.
It is a rallying cry for our enemies. It sets back the willingness of our allies to work with us in fighting an enemy that operates in scores of countries. By any measure, the cost of keeping it open far exceed the complications involved in closing it.
Obama also stopped the controversial Bush-era military trial system and promised a full review. Now, 2 years on, Guantanamo's still open and the military trials are back. The White House says it's made the system fairer, but critics see it as a return to square one.
The ironic aspect of this is that President Bush established this kind of review mechanism. President Obama set up this kind of a mechanism when he took office, and now this is the third iteration. I have no reason to believe that this new system is going to be any better than the two systems that it has already replaced.
The issue of what to do about Guantanamo Bay has dogged Obama's presidency from the beginning. His political opponents and some of those in his own party have blocked his efforts. The White House wanted to move and try some detainees in U.S. courts, but Congress made that impossible. Obama has also found it hard to find countries willing to take those released from Guantanamo, and his administration now says some prisoners will just stay locked up without trial indefinitely. Now that the review into detention policy at Guantanamo Bay has been completed, charges are expected soon for at least 3 detainees who were charged under the Bush administration and who've been deemed eligible to stand trial, but whose cases were dropped in 2009 so the review could take place. John Terrett, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Well, new video has surfaced of the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center in New York.
It's gone! It's the whole tower!
The footage was shot from inside a police helicopter hovering above the Twin Towers. The 17 minutes of footage was a part of a cache of evidence in New York City authorities had handed over to a federal agency investigating the collapse of the towers. Well, oil prices reached 2-year highs, fueled by the unrest in the Middle East and North Africa. And still to come on Al Jazeera, we'll take a look at what impact the situation in Libya could have on the global economic recovery. And Mexico's saint of death, as the drug-related violence continues. Many people are looking towards spirituality for comfort. That's coming up.
Hello once again. We've got another winter storm making its way across the United States. Now, over the last couple of days, we've seen this particular storm system easing further eastwards. Eastern thirds had some awful weather. That's going to continue drifting a little further eastwards. New England seeing some of the wintry flurries as we go on through the next 24 hours or so into eastern parts of Canada. It will only make way for the next storm system, which is currently pushing its way across the Rockies. And as we go on through Tuesday, then we'll see that wintry weather diving its way over the mountain states, pushing right the way towards the prairies. Very wet weather also affecting southernmost parts by this stage. So some poor conditions to come for many. Meanwhile, it should be drier over towards the eastern side of the country, even drier too over towards the west. But just notice there'll be some wintry weather just around the Pacific Northwest into western Canada. Rain, sleet and snow to come here then. We got some rain to come into Central America, southern parts of Central America, just around Nicaragua. That aside, it's fine and dry. The Caribbean looking lovely. Temperatures getting up to 27, 28 degrees. Plenty of pleasant sunshine to come. Good deal of sunshine too into much of Europe, but for the southeastern corner, a return to winter. It's very cold here. There'll be more